Hey guys, thanks for tuning in for another painting tutorial. This time Opel Blitzes. I have the makers of the STLs there in the bottom left corner. So if you're interested in them, just Google them and you can find them on whatever website you want to purchase the models from. These went together really quick. I think maybe I have 4 hours in the three vehicles that you see there. So, all right, the first thing you're going to need to do is prime the model in the desert yellow. And then the box is actually printed separate. So to save some time for a base coat, I printed or didn't print. I primed that in a nutmeg from Krylon, just a cheap primer. And then the first color, this will be the longest color you'll be painting for these models because we're going to go straight into weathering and chipping pretty quick right after this. Just the coal black from Pro Curl, just to get the tires and any other black bits. If you want to, not on camera, you'll see it in the next one, but you can go ahead and get the windows, all the windows, if your model has windows. Some of them aren't printed with windows, so you don't even have to worry about it. But this would be a good time to block any of those main colors out. But yeah, just the tires, any of the suspension, the bottom end of uh, the model there. You probably won't ever see it. I just like to get it. If it's a detail on there, I'll just hit it. It doesn't take that long. And then if you do mess up, you can go back if you have the bottle of Desert Yellow from Army Painter. It's a pretty good match from their primer, and you can just go in and touch it up pretty easy. So might take 2 coats. As far as wash, I have the recipe there for you, and just lather it on there. Try to get nice even coats. It is large panels, but the wash does pretty good. Just make sure it doesn't pool up in weird places. If you can, try to push it to the recesses. But it's okay if it does pool up. You'll see when it dries here that that's totally fine because with our weathering, you sort of want that variation in tone. It makes the weathering look just a little bit more, I guess, realistic. Back to cool black, like I said, this is just blocking out all the windows. I didn't do that, so but if you want to save some time, do that ahead of time. So hit all the windows, try to be as neat as you can. But again, if you do mess up, you just go back in with that desert yellow and clean it up real easy. So this is hopefully going to be the easiest window technique you've ever seen. I don't, maybe not, but it is very easy, and I think the end result it comes out really nice if you have to do windows. I know a lot of people sort of stress about doing windows or glass, and I think this is a pretty dummy proof way. This is a cheap apple barrel elephant gray, but you can use any really light gray that you want, maybe a medium tone gray. But you're just going to go in there and sort of stick right in the middle. Don't get to the edges and just block it in there. It doesn't have to be like super clean lines. You actually don't want super clean lines. And then you're going to mix this now with the elephant gray with the Pro Curl Bold Titanium White just to be one step up. So if you have a darker gray, that's totally fine. You just might have to mix again. You know what I mean? Just work it up and this takes literally minutes. It is really quick paint scheme here. Don't forget that back little glass. This is specific on this model. It might not be on yours. And then from there, we're going to go straight to pure white, bold titanium white, and you're going to just stick more towards the middle and let that dry. And then you're going to use Army Painter, the Magic Blue, the contrast paint or speed paint, or contrast paint of your choice if you're a Citadel guy or Vallejo. Just going to go in there and you make sure you get the whole window, even the black portion. And this will just, it's almost like a wash. It just pulls it right in. It's a contrast, obviously. So it's just, I don't know. It just is an easy way to do windows. And you can sort of see there, it's like already to a pretty good stage. Like you don't have to wet blend, takes minutes, you know. So if you have a whole bunch of miniatures that you need to paint and you want at least some type of effect on there, this is an easy way to do it. But we're not done yet. We're gonna actually highlight just a little bit more. We're gonna take that pure white and we're gonna go into the farthest recesses, so the left and then the bottom, just where that black portion is in each of those windows there, and just add a little dot or a little L if you want to, or a circle. How just the context of how the window is, and it'll look appropriate. So it gives it a sort of a cartoonish look. So if you're not into that, you could hit it again with the magic blue and it will take it back down, but it'll at least be a highlight in those corners and it'll give a little bit more of an impression there that it's, reflecting off the windshield just a little bit. So again, this isn't display quality, but it is a good way to get windows knocked out in a very easy way that used to take just wet blending and a whole bunch of techniques to make it happen. And here it is, probably, I don't know, 2, 3 minutes a truck. So definitely use this, put this in your tool belt. It might not be the go-to, but for me, it's an easy way to put some nice windows on a vehicle. Also the lenses for the headlights too. Okay, now another paint, Vallejo Air Wood. This will take you a little bit of time, just a little bit of stippling. It actually, I didn't really know what I was gonna do here. I just sort of made it up as I went, but I wanted to have some variation. If you look at historical photos, they actually have the trucks sort of painted the same exact color as the chassis, but I just wanted some different color, just to add some variation in there. And so you just take this Vallejo Air Wood or wood, it's an air paint, and you just go through and you stipple everything. Just do little hashes, marks, scratches, however you want to. It doesn't have to be perfect or pretty. And you'll go in there and it just adds a little bit of sort of stippling to make it look like a wood grain. Not the best wood grain pattern, but again, I think this looks great on the tabletop. It has a little bit of pop to it. We are going to tone it down just a smidge with another wash, but it goes together pretty quick. And again, I like the two color scheme going on instead of just it being all desert yellow. I don't do the floor just because I have stowage and stuff in there. You probably won't see it. So next we're going to use the Citadel Reichland Flush Shade. I want to try something different. I usually use the Crusader skin from Army Painter for wood and different things like that, but I wanted to try a different wash. So that does sort of dry satin or even a gloss, so you will have to knock it back down. When you do your matte varnish, it will knock it down just fine. So this is the best, I think the most fun part of the painting process here is this chipping technique, doing all the weathering. Just go in there with coal black and a sponge or some type of packing material. These are from the blister packs, the sponges that the Warlord miniatures and metal ones come in. Try to be sparing, try to have some type of tact when you're putting this in. Don't just go in there crazy. Definitely knock down the paint with some type of paper towel because you don't want a big splotch in there. Now we're going to add some more variation. So we're going to use a Procol khaki and same technique. We're just going to go right over the top of where we put all those black tipping in, or that black from the coal black there. And it gives it a little bit of a highlight and also just a technique of where there's almost two layers of paint that, and it's going back down to its field gray color. You could definitely use field gray instead of black too. So I just I've always just done chipping with black paint. It just is, I think it looks really nice and clean. Now we're going to use field gray. And if you look at a lot of photos, the DAC symbol is they basically scrape the paint away, the coyote color, or sorry, the desert color camo paint that they would put on there, and they'd scrape that away and it'd be the field gray underneath. So we're going to try to mimic that as best we can. You're going to go in there and almost apply it like sort of heavy in the middle, and then take water if you need to, blend it on the edges to make it look like it's just sort of paint that's scraped away. and you'll see the end technique. I think it looks really good when it's done. So, and that is through Army Painter, the field gray there. I don't use it very often anymore. I've really come to like the Pro Curl paint line. I don't use a lot of the Army Painter base paints. I know they just came out with a new line. I'd like to try that, but I haven't got my hands on it. I mean, it's just now I have so many paints. It's like, which one do you choose from? There's so many of them out there anymore. But this takes a little bit of time. It's just feathering. And this, I didn't speed it up. I just want to see that's as long as it should take you. So now I applied the decals there, and then we're going to edge highlight the tires with the Pro Curl Blue Black. Really good color for highlighting blacks just to make them a little bit more poppy. You could definitely leave the tires just black, but I don't know. Just gives it a little bit more of a edge highlight. And now we're pretty much finishing up here. I went ahead and Krylon matte varnish the the whole model there, and then I actually put gloss varnish on the windows just to give it that sort of window look, right? If you're interested in the DAC Army, how to paint infantrymen, I'll link the video right now to that. But yeah, I really enjoyed these models. They went together really quick. I was able to do them, like I said, in an evening, all three of them. So, and you can see the three of them there. I think they came out really nice and clean. As far as the Windows technique, let me know in the comments if that helped you out. And as far as what I'm getting ready to transition to is some track vehicles. So please stay tuned. Again, thanks, guys. Cheers.